What's up, jobbers, and welcome to the latest edition of the Jobber Knocker podcast. As always, Nestlemania alongside for the ride is a man who would always take a hotel key from Liv Morgan, JC.
Yeah, I think that would qualify as a lot of people. Take a hotel room key from her, get fucking mounted by her. It's just
Let her
she's
call
doing
you
it all
daddy.
in Nestlemania right now. Yeah. Oh yeah.
That it was so funny. Our boy Ben was texting us earlier today for a separate reason we will not get into because we do not want to give him that plug. But he did say that Liv Morgan doing her best work, making it interesting. And I agree. I think Liv Morgan is making everything interesting, but we can get to that later.
Oh yeah, we're definitely gonna get to that. But Nestlemania, we start in the shine, and you know what? There was a lot of shine this week. I thought, well, good amount of shine, but one of my favorite matches of the week, which will lead into our top story, was Braun Breaker, Ilya Dragunov, Baina. I love hard hitting matches. I love matches that feature meat. I mean, anytime Dragunov is slapping another man's meat, I'm in, baby. That sounded so wrong, but it works. I mean, this was a lot of fun. And look obviously the story this week, it's all about Ricochet. He comes out after, makes a save for Dragunov, helps carry him off, and then Braun Breaker fucking destroys Ricochet, fucking pews him into another dimension so badly as he put him through that car that Ricochet's probably going to need to wear a mask the rest of his career, and it's going to be soft like a puma. So, but You know what? Love Ricochet, Nestlemania. This is how you go out if it's truly going out, which it seems like he is. And this little triple threat feud thing they've had going on the last few weeks has been one of my favorite things on Raw.
I think the one thing that it would really just bum me out here about the entire thing, we're not going to get that triple threat.
Yeah, no, I know.
That hurts my heart. That hurts my heart and soul. We never got the Dragunov Ricochet rematch. It's just
we got two.
But they were broken up, both of them, I think, or like almost instantly. It just feels like what a way to go out. Big kaboom, as we say. But it's hard to think of a different way to go out. I mean, that was pretty. He's a model employee. Let's put it that way. He fell on his sword. I thought Sam. That was my one thought, is if we came back from commercial break and Sam was perfectly fine, I would have been like, nobody's protecting kayfabe, goddammit. And sure enough, there she was in the ambulance with him. And I went, okay, great. Like that to me was a pivotal moment there to what's going on. I will say there were a point, you know me and how I cringe on shit, like, obviously, because you've watched a lot of wrestling with me. But there was that one moment when he lawn darted him. And again, this is just stuff that Braun Breaker doesn't know, because again, he's still green, whatever. What he was supposed to do when he lawn darted him was to like throw him and get out of the way. But if you watch closely, the inner leg of Ricochet gets caught on his shoulder and he like flips forward and like smacks. Luckily, he knows how to tuck his chin because he takes bumps. But the sound that made on the pavement was just, like I was half asleep. It woke me right the fuck up. I was just like, you know me. I was like, oh,
yeah. No. You were probably freaking out.
I was freaking out.
It's not safe. Stop it. Oh my God.
That's exactly what I thought. And then I'm like, okay, he fucking goes up and does the fucking spine buster through the thing. And somebody on Twitter, I don't know who it was, but had a great line. It was like, it was real glass. And I just started dying. I was like, of course. But so this leads to a question here. There's a lot to think about. A lot of people have been speculating what's going to happen. I personally think there is still an opening to keep him. We don't know what's going to happen. What says you?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty clear that he's probably going. I would love if we got a swerve and he came back, because, like, look it. I say this all the time with my favorites. Ricochet is one of my favorites, always has been since the second he showed up on my screen. Even before he got to WWE, I kind of referenced the Prince Puma thing earlier. People like you told me to check him out in Lucha Underground and all that stuff, and I did, and I like, this guy's fucking amazing. I was watching so many highlight tapes of him before his debut. So Ricochet's been a guy, I mean, he's the one and only, like his entrance used to say, for a reason. He is a special talent. And obviously, like, I want my favorites to be in WWE. That's what I watch the most. That's where the best wrestle. And that's...
You're gonna,
yeah. That's right. I had to do that. But so obviously that's my preference. But I will say this. And like the one thing I always do is I always roll my eyes when fans just get all fucking butthurt about blah, 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 blah. It's like, let's think about this for Ricochet. what else is left for him really to do in WWE? Yeah, he can go out there and have banner matches every now and then, but he's won both mid-card titles. He's probably never going to get a world title. He's pretty much done it all in WWE. I think he's wrestled for the most part who he's wanted to wrestle. He's probably made his money. He's probably very satisfied with how his career has went in WWE. So for him, it's probably looking at it like, you know what? There are different opportunities out there for me. I'm a name, and if I go to a place like AEW, there's even more dream matches I'm going to have. He's going to be reunited with Ospreay for that fucking mega match, which is definitely going to happen. And it just, the way I look at it, I'm like, this might be the right decision for him. And before people go, oh my God, AEW, he'll be hot for a week and then disappear. And I'll say this, that's true for a lot of talent, but it's true for a lot of talent that maybe doesn't cut it. Ricochet is the one and only for a reason. He's a guy that no matter what, even if you don't have something going for him, he'll be a guy in a random match on Dynamite every week and he'll steal the show. But I made a list here because I kind of want to talk this through here because the thing of the WWE to AEW successes, because there's actually a lot more than people think. Number one, who's their world champion? Swerve Strickland. I would say that move for him was the right call because he was probably never winning the world title in WWE. He became a huge star over there. Fans love him. Boom, easy. Samoa Joe's another one. Probably just going to be a commentator in WWE. Goes to AEW, a lot of runs, was just world champion as well. Obviously, Christian Cage is another one. He's a little older, but he's got in here and probably doing the best work of his career right now, and that's a pretty damn good career. So boom, there's three right off the bat. FTR, my favorite tag team. They're guys that in WWE, they could have just kept winning random titles, feuding with whatever, but they reached a different level in AEW because they were given that opportunity. The other ones I'll go rapid fire here. Toni Storm, another obvious one. Could she have had the success in WWE? I'm not so sure, but in AEW, home run. John Moxley's a really easy one because he was doing the weird shit at the end. But then I got two other here, and they're two other guys that we like to shit on. But Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly. These are guys who would have been doing nothing in WWE, probably wouldn't have been on TV. I think they're doing pretty well for themselves in AEW. So my point is that Ricochet's the type of guy that'll fit into this category, where if he goes to AEW, it ain't going to be an issue for him disappearing. He's going to be a guy that has a lot of success. So I expect that to be his next move. And if that's what makes him happy, man, I support it.
A lot of people out there are saying AEW. There is a contingent, at least for me, in my brain anyway, thinking about this from, I could see him going to Japan for a little bit because that's, where he really got to do. Yeah, he could do both with AEW and do like, the best of the Super Juniors or the G1 or whatever he wants to do. I bow to Conway and to Dom about those guys and their intelligence on that topic. But I think that would be a no-brainer there, but it seems like all the stars that were in New Japan are now in AEW. I could see him traveling around for a little bit too, to go to TNA, the independents and stuff like that. I mean, again, you can still do that with AEW mostly. But again, there is a part of me also that thinks that like, and I tend to believe this is like, we don't know anything. We don't know shit. Right? Like we can guess, we hear all this shit that, there's going to be a contract that's over here or this person's leaving or whatever. We don't know until we see it with our own very eyes and something that's very concrete by somebody that's very concrete, or the person has to come out and say it. There is a small part of me that's like, the one thing that Ricochet has never done in WWE is get to that point of like breaking that glass ceiling, getting to that next level, being a character that is relatable. Fantastic in the ring, like you said, one and only. Clearly, no one can replicate what he can do. He is the guy, but he's never been treated like the guy. But I think on the very, very low chance that they bring him back against Braun Breaker and make him that underdog babyface that he has already been, but he's got the sympathetic girlfriend, fiance aspect of it now that they're going to probably push. I could see him becoming a bigger star from an emotional connection with the fans. That's to me the part that he was lacking in WWE that got him only so far. Like, mid card is perfectly fine. You've said this before, JC, on a lot of terms, that there's nothing wrong with being a mid card guy in the WWE, not at all. And like you said, he's probably very satisfied with what he has. But I feel like Triple H is smart enough to, if everything worked out, that this could be a thing where like maybe he could do something and come back and be an emotional investment for the fans. Because for me, that was my only caveat was, you can say what he wants about whether or not he can cut a promo or not. He really hasn't gotten a lot of opportunities to cut really passionate promos, but when he does, he did a pretty good darn job, I think. I just think that we used to joke, or at least I did, with the gee golly gosh attitude about him, which maybe not necessarily all his fault, but when you come from Paducah, Kentucky, I mean, maybe that's how you talk. I don't know, but
Such a hater of Paducah.
I mean, Paducah, it sounds like podunk. That's exactly where my brain goes, but what a talent, what a special guy. I joke mostly about all the things I jest about, but like I said, WWE can take somebody like that and do something with it. So I wouldn't be surprised if I'm wrong. Clearly I am most of the time, but I feel like AEW is like, like I get it, but I don't know where the 90-day clause comes and where he starts and ends. So I'm sure all that information will get leaked if that's the case, but I don't get excited about him in AEW as much. Like, yes, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla was great, and he had all these great matches with the Young Bucks and their friends and all that shit. Like, I'm sure the Ospreay thing will fucking, everybody will love that fucking gymnastics routine, and I'm sure Cornette will have a fucking conniption about it like last time. But to me, it's like, you made a joke about this, WWE's where the best wrestle and stuff, but AEW, that's the tagline. That's where the best wrestle. But I also feel like, for the most part, and I mean this, there are exceptions to rules. You have said a lot of things, but I will say this: AEW to me is where the mediocre just tread water. That's what I think.
But Ricochet is not mediocre.
No, I'm not. I know, but the thing is they rest on their laurels. They don't act like there are people there that improve, and you've listed a lot of people who have taken the opportunity to improve, right? To improve their stature or what their legacy will be. But there are a lot of people there, in my opinion, that are absolutely just not gonna do it.
Because they're people that aren't good enough, or they're people that just don't care
whatever,
to be good enough, or they're people like Adam Cole and Keith Lee who have been snake bitten by injuries. Like, who knows if they could have become something, but there's a guy like Malachi Black who unfortunately it just hasn't changed for him. But look, if Ricochet wants to stay in WWE, Triple H is going to give him whatever he wants. I don't think that's an issue. That's why, to me, I just look at it as that Ricochet's looking for a different challenge. That's all it is. And that's why I no issue with it. I want him to do what he wants. It was the same thing with like Mercedes. She wanted a different challenge. That's what she did, and that's what she's doing. Like, who am I to judge that? It's like, that's why it's like people make personal decisions in their lives and want to do things, and whether fans take it personally or think they know better, it's like, how do you know that this is the best opportunity for their life? Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, at some point, it's just, you got to trust people to make their own decisions and do what's best for them. And that's why, to me, like this, it's like, look, if Ricochet wants to stay in WWE, Triple H he'll pay him top dollar, whatever he wants. He knows his value. Look, he just made him the first ever the Speed Champion, which is a very important, lucrative thing they have, like a big sponsored element they've been pushing like on social. And he was the guy that at the forefront of it. So clearly WWE knows his values, but it is what it is. And that's why, to me, it looks like it's his decision, and I respect it. And I think he'll do great with whatever he wants to do. I think you're right. He'll definitely do Japan stuff, but he's definitely going to be doing AEW stuff because, I mean, Will Ospreay, Swerve, all these guys will want him there. There's so many great matches for him there. And honestly, his ceiling there is higher there in terms of climbing the card than it is in WWE. That's just fact. Like, exposure is lower, whatever, but in terms of like how high he could make it, there's more titles over there, more different feuds, more higher level things he can do in AEW than he can do in WWE. That's just a fact. It is what it is.
Can I ask you this too, as well, as that if he becomes a world champion in AEW, does that continue to you feel like the AEW championship is kind of a lower tier title in terms of like, it's more obtainable like an Impact championship, it's more obtainable like a Ring of Honor championship, versus like, okay, it wasn't the WCW or WWF title, you know what I mean? Like, or do you think winning the AEW championship is even in the same realm as the WWE championship?
You want me to blow your mind? Because it's not in the same realm with the WWE championship. There is the WWE championship, but then you can put two other men's singles titles here that you want: the World Heavyweight Championship and the AEW championship. It is for the second champion, the second tier champion, which is a very, very like elite level champion. But it's not the Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes championship. It's the Damian Priest championship. And look, there's nothing wrong with that. AEW is the number 2 wrestling company out there. It is. And to be the world champion of that is a huge success. And it's a huge deal for Swerve, and it's awesome. Do I think Ricochet will get that? Probably not, but international champion, TNT champion, all these types of things. There's probably about 30 New Japan titles that I never heard of that he can win, that he can carry on to AEW, or all these. They don't do anything with AAA anymore, but it's just like there's just so many opportunities for Ricochet. But I think personally, it's just like, for him, it's probably a different challenge. It's a chance to do something different. And also, like, we have heard a lot of people who go to AEW, it's a different lifestyle too, where WWE is just constant on the road grind. Some guys may be like, look at lighter schedule, maybe more freedom in matches. That's appealing to people, especially when you're a star like Ricochet. They can meet some of your other demands. So I'm curious to see what happens next for him. Either way, I'll be watching because he is a JC guy forever and ever.
Our boy Guthrie says Beth wishes to Samantha Irvin and friend. Which
she ain't going anywhere. She will not be going anywhere. She will stay here.
There's too many ring announcers in AEW and Ring of Honor.
I mean, it just Samantha's like the best in the business right now. She's not going anywhere. Her career, it would make no sense for her to leave. Like Renee, like following Moxley eventually, like I guess that kind of made sense. But for Samantha, maybe in 5 years she would leave. But right now, there is no chance for her in terms of like her career development or anything else. Like no chance she's leaving.
Okay, what else you got for me that's positive?
Well, we mentioned it earlier. Sorry, I got a text from all of us are very happy that we can no longer do Celtics halftime live. So just got one from Paul, and he says you must be the happiest man in the world, and he knows I am because I'll be able to breathe during games now. But yes, back to what we're talking about here, and not bullshit that nobody understands. Liv leaving Dom the hotel key, all this stuff. Liv coming out during the match, getting launched onto Dom, and just like on top of him in a position that every man in the world that is interested in Liv Morgan would love her to be staring up at. So I loved all this. I loved all the nonsense. I loved the little thin stuff. And my favorite line was from Carlito, actually, when Dom's like, yeah, she left me a hotel room. And Carlito looks and goes, that's cool. I just fucking lost it. Because it's just, that's what I love about Carlito with this mix. It's just like, the little one-liners or the facial expressions. He's so good at that stuff. And it's been a nice little refresh for Judgment Day. And obviously Liv has too. But so, yeah, like this, we mentioned it off the top at Nestlemania. This stuff has just been fantastic.
I laughed so hard when he got scared by the pyro. I was just like, little shit like that takes it from not watchable to just like enjoyable. And then you buy yourself time as a fan when you're already annoyed. So I thought this was wonderful. The other thing I thought was great was, if you think about it, we can go back and forth on what the best storyline on Raw is lately, but I don't think, I mean, this is 1A or 1B. We'll talk about the other one in a second, I'm sure. But you think about it, like it gets dominated on Raw. Like it's an opening segment and then like 3 or 4 segments. There's 2 matches, so it's like probably on the list of it all is probably like 10 segments of the show is dedicated to a hotel room key and the Mac and Drew, Mac and Priest. My brain is scattered, obviously. Like this 6-man tag out of fucking nowhere.
By the way, Nestlemania, I'll say this because I know you hate 6-man tags.
Yeah,
but I watched this entire thing. It was so much fun. Like this is a 6-man tag where like I'm okay with it because for the most part we say they're useless. But Braun Strowman with a bunch of fucking little guys. That's porn for me. I eat this shit up. And the hot tags with him like going ballistic, the crowd just eats it up. And after the match, him lifting Zelina so hard, she
ripping her arm out of, yeah, Jesus. It was so ridiculous. But again, the other thing too is like, I was looking at it from a different perspective when I was watching this. I'm like, okay, like Liv Morgan isn't going to defend her title. Liv Morgan is in the middle of this fucking storyline. That's the one thing that's interesting to me. Like they're not even interested in clearly
she'll be defending against Zelina, I bet, after what happened on Monday.
Sure, but it's like that's not getting added probably to
not a Clash. Not a Clash.
No way. Fun. No, but it's like maybe Money in the Bank.
She just won the title and just had a rematch with Becky. Like she'll probably face Zelina on a Raw, and then at Money in the Bank they'll have someone a little more higher tier.
Yeah, I think that she's doing a lot of great character work though. I think she deserves a lot of credit because again, for the longest time, like I told you, for me it was like obviously, easy on the eyes, obviously, getting better in the ring, but there was always that something missing for me. And I think right when she said I have a purpose in that promo a couple months ago, I went, okay, now I'm starting to buy her. It was like, there's that old adage, that old saying where they said to people like, stop pretending to be a wrestler and start being a wrestler. Now I believe that Liv Morgan has made it. You know what I mean? And I think that took a while, and partly because Becky helped her, partly because she found a good character. A lot of things have to fall into place with timing. But I think Liv Morgan she's not a draw, but Liv Morgan is definitely must-watch TV. You know what I mean? I think there's a difference there.
I think her YouTube views would be saying otherwise in terms
That's
of
fair.
she's becoming that, because look at, like, I know a lot of people have been saying that, oh, this is Liv. I'm like, look at Liv elevated a few years ago when she won Money in the Bank and beat Ronda Rousey. Like that, she arrived on the scene like, okay, Liv's legit. But then she had the massive backward step with the injury and everything else, and people just kind of forgot. But before that injury, she was having bangers with people where we were looking like every match with Liv Morgan was a good match. And obviously the only person to pin Ronda twice or whatever was a big deal at the time. But yeah, for sure, in terms of character work, like the stuff with like Lana and stuff was kind of fun. But this is obviously next level. This is how she becomes like that main event, like draw type star that they're looking for to become. And like, it's Liv just has always had that factor where people like her. And it's like, how do you take that and translate it into elevating her till she is like someone you put in the front row of a poster? And I think with this storyline and this character work, it's here, because when Rhea Ripley comes back, there ain't going to be no feud on TV as good as Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. And it's already this good, but just you wait. And it's just like, it's a lot of credit goes to everyone involved, but like for sure, like Liv has come back with a vengeance, and it has been such good TV.
I don't want to harp too much on it, but again, let's move on to something else that I think is also A++, which is the continuation of Sammy and Gable and Otis. Here's the thing. I don't think Sami Zayn will ever be as red hot as he was with the Bloodline ever. I don't know if that'll ever be replicated.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be replicated. Do I think he's an amazing talent? Absolutely. Do I think he's world championship material? Absolutely. But right now, he is not the fucking story. He is literally just the obstacle to get to what we need to get to. And watching the backstage promo, I was sitting there and I'm like, okay, we know Sammy can have these heartfelt things, and Tozawa and Maxine are doing their gig and they're doing a great job. But for Otis to say what he said, and he said, like, I lost my Money in the Bank briefcase, I lost my peach, I lost my tucky, and then I lost all this shit, and, you know, Gable's my family. And I went, it's nice that they brought it up. Like, you didn't need to, but it was important to the story. And I thought that was a great emotional attachment to Otis. And then looking at it from a story perspective, it's like, okay, like we've all been in those situations, friendships, relationships, whatever, where you're in that slightly or very toxic relationship where there's a reason you stay, one reason or another. And so like, there's a disapproving dad that Gable is being, and like the whole thing, like there's so many realistic qualities to this that I'm just really enjoying as a fan. But then to watch every week where Otis gets closer and closer and closer to his breaking point, it's fantastic, because he fucking lost in a jobber alert. And normally people see the jobber alert and they're like, you don't like that. I'm like, no, the jobber alert is specific. If you watch the fucking program, it's for us to understand something.
3 minutes or less.
Yeah, that's it. That's all we're saying. We're just
3
saying,
minutes
like,
or less, and you get
TV
a free
time.
tweet. Okay,
yes, exactly.
That's how it works.
It's a TV time thing we're talking about. That's all we're talking about. We're not talking about them being jobbers.
Statistic.
It's a statistic, yes. But I will say this much: watching him get to the point where he was, shaking and whatever, and this is the part to me, JC, which is he didn't have to do it, but it made all the difference in the world, was the cowering that Gable did in that corner when Otis is standing over him. He did more for Otis in that moment, he being Gable, did more in that moment than most people have ever interacted in a match with Otis. Because he said before that match, I'm unleashing the real version of Otis. And we didn't get it. And now we saw it afterwards. So I actually believe wholeheartedly that Otis is going to be the big fucking version of himself going forward once he snaps on Gable. I really do. Like a real threat. Maybe not like an intercontinental title threat, but I mean like a real threat.
Well, so here's what I want to happen, because Nestlemania, where's Money in the Bank?
Toronto?
Yeah. So you guess what? That's in Canada. That's where Sammy's from. We need to get this fucking useless strap off of him. Put it on Chad Gable so Sammy can go be in Money in the Bank. So either he wins and has a big moment, or whoever the fuck wins as a heel has a fucking coming out party because everyone hates him because he took it from Sammy. And we have to get that thing on Chad Gable. And you know what, Nestlemania, watching that and Otis reminding me what he lost, I'm like, I'd be fine if Otis won a singles title. Wouldn't have to be a long run. But let Otis beat Chad Gable for the Intercontinental Championship. Maybe that's like, I don't know. I mean, they drag it out. Maybe it's at Money in the Bank. Maybe it's at SummerSlam. Who the hell knows? But it's like, I'm watching that. I'm like, I need it. I'm like, I need Sammy to lose for two reasons. One, this is as good as Gable's ever going to be. And two, I need Sammy away from this shit and in that goddamn ladder match. And three, the bonus, Otis and Gable, like, it's a fucking ready-made feud that's going to make that title great. So I don't know if they're going to do it, but goddamn, it makes way too much sense not to, you know?
I just don't know if they can like, this is the part we talk about, right? Like, the train is passing by. It's either get on or watch it pass you. And all I can think about is, this to me is better than the Gunther thing. Like, this is as good as Gable has ever been. You can talk about all his shortcomings, no pun intended, but that man is amazing. And this is as good as it's going to get. Otis for champ, says our boy Bertsky.
Hey, you know what? They at one time there was enough faith to give him the briefcase and tease him as a world champion. Him as an Intercontinental Champion, I would have no issues with at this point because this story is that good. And like I said, he doesn't need to hold it long, and he could fucking lose it to a young heel immediately. So it's one of those things like, I don't know. It just, everything makes too much sense for this to happen. So I would be surprised if it didn't at this point.
Is there anything else about this you'd like to talk about before we move on?
No, I think we should hop over to SmackDown, Nestlemania, and look at my favorite thing on SmackDown is, and it's funny because one of the guys isn't even there. Logan Paul isn't even there, but yeah, I'm loving LA Knight cutting promos, and then we get into Logan Paul on his phone promo. It's fucking working, man. It's crazy. It's like, wow, you know, Logan doesn't show up to work, but he contributes a lot more than Roman does, and Roman's not there. So good job, Logan. But I just like, my hype for this feud in this match is just so high because this is when Logan Paul won the championship. This is the first thing that went on all our brains. And so far, it's living up. And they're slow teasing it. They're soft teasing it. They had Mello involved this week, so we got a little versus him match going on there. But this, to me, is the best part of SmackDown right now.
I was just laughing so hard. He says, stay in the mid-card where you belong. And I'm like, motherfucker, you're the mid-card champion, you fucking asshole, but whatever.
He just main evented a pay-per-view.
I know,
so
but
I understand what he's saying.
He's main evented at least 2 or 3 of them already. Yeah? But I mean, I just laugh because it's just the vernacular he uses sometimes is like too close to the chest, but he reads Twitter. I don't hate it. It's just kind of funny. But here's the thing. I have never in my life cared about an LA Knight match once the bell rings. Yeah. Ever.
But you'll care about this one because it's
I will.
Shit. Yeah.
I feel like here's the thing that's going to mask LA Knight being a mediocre wrestler is the fucking Logan, like the Logan Paul effect of the Gaga is going to make this a fucking launch pad. No pun intended.
And he will sell out for LA too because Logan fucking gets the business.
I just think this has the potential to be the best that LA Knight can offer us as a wrestler. As a wrestler, just a wrestler. Everything else is fucking, tits.
But Logan Paul's the perfect heel for a white hot babyface like LA Knight. And they can bullshit talk so it works. This is money.
Anything else that you enjoyed that you want to talk about?
I mean, there's nothing else I really enjoyed, but I'd have to put this in the shine because Cody versus AJ is going to be fucking porn, man. Like, I quit matches, like, whatever. But, like, we get to just think about this Nestlemania. We get to watch Cody versus AJ 2 once again on foreign soil with those crowds. Oh, I'm wet just thinking about it. Not just because I'm sweating.
Because he had to turn off his fan. No, but look, I actually did enjoy the whole lead up and back and forth and the whole thing. The one thing, there's a couple of things that fucking kind of got me about it. One was the placement of the truck with Ric Flair, and I'm like, oh god, it's not Arn, it might be
okay,
Ric Flair.
Dom.
Right? No, because look at it. Here's the thing. There's only one thing that could be worse than Arn Anderson, and it's Ric Flair. I'm sorry, because Ric Flair only cares about Ric Flair. That's all I'm saying. So
I think it was just a truck. I don't think this one was intentional.
But so Guthrie is about to embark on the same confidence that I have.
Yeah, no, I agree. But again, Cody and AJ, right? I think they can make any shit fucking sandwich good.
Okay. So Guthrie is on the same train as Nestlemania here. I Quit matches are almost as bad as steel cage matches. JC gives the sign off on that as well. But I think the thing that I'm looking at is I Quit matches to me are kind of a feud ender. And I feel like, is this really a feud ender? It feels like it should go 3, right?
I mean, if Cody wins both, it could be.
Yeah, but
I think if they do a third one, it would be on a random TV later in the year. or something. But I don't know. This feels like a way to write off AJ off TV for a bit.
But
That's
he
what it
just
feels like to me.
started doing, you know what I mean?
He's
Like it
part
just,
time, bro. He hasn't taken a break since Mania. Like he's a part timer, man. He's probably gonna go and he'll be back around to like SummerSlam time, unless if they're gonna book him in Money in the Bank. But even that, when's that? Beginning of next month. So I don't know. This feels like a way to write him off for a bit, or do the other thing we talked about. Maybe him quitting gets him to Raw.
maybe. I just don't know about AJ Styles in terms of how much left in the tank, no pun intended, he has, because clearly he's very ripped and clearly he's the phenomenal one. But like, I just don't, there are things that I don't know about Paul Levesque sometimes, but I feel like Paul Levesque looks at somebody internally and goes like, nah, I don't see a belt on that guy, like the world title on him. I really don't think I don't know if he sees AJ Styles as a world champion. I know
Not
he
with
would.
that world championship. Maybe the other one, but not
Maybe.
this one.
Yeah. It's like a select few get the fucking nod. You know what I mean? And
I mean, let's look at the last fucking like 3 years. How many champions have held that belt?
No, I know. I'm just saying.
Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar held the other fake one that ended that, and now it's Cody Rhodes. It's like it's pretty creme de la creme. You know, there's not they always have treated that belt better than the other one, but it just especially lately.
I don't know. It's very odd, very very odd to me. And an I Quit match in general for me is like, to me the only I Quit matches I've really enjoyed. To me, like I can only think of Cena and Umaga, which I thought was good, but like. There's a couple, but I just feel like
it's not my favorite gimmick. But this, I can ask it here because, I mean, Drew has to main event this show, right? So I'm assuming this kicks off the show.
Well, there better be blood because Cody Rhodes must fucking bleed. Right?
I mean, it's an I Quit match, Nestlemania. They're gonna be doing stupid shit. These two are gonna be doing stupid shit.
I just feel bad for the team. Most likely, is probably the women's tag titles will be right after it. You know what I mean? Like that. Number 2 spot is the worst spot on the card. So it's just.
Yeah, it's interesting because both women matches kind of have the hometown cooking going for them at least. Yeah. And then besides that, it's literally the 2 main events and then the Intercontinental. So
yeah,
I think all the matches are going to have no issues getting time, much like we saw in France. Like that women's tag in France got like fucking 16, 18 minutes or whatever. So I think everyone's going to get all the time they want. And this match is probably going to go for a while.
Okay. All right. Anything else? Or would like to get heaty? Get him off my TV. Get him off my TV. Get him off my TV. Now, look, there's a lot we can talk about here. I don't know if it's a choose your own adventure kind of scenario.
Is Guthrie still here?
Guthrie, are you still here? He must be.
Yeah, let's start with that.
All right.
Kick us off in that direction.
All right, Guthrie. So I've talked about this a little bit. Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark literally beat Isla Dawn and Alba Fire in a jobber alert match. And all I could think about here was, you're supposed to be building up these 2 tag teams that are not even going to come close to sniffing these tag titles. And you just jobbed out the fucking hometown people. And I was just like, what are
this
you?
This is some Vince McMahon shit booking right here.
I was like, what the fuck? Like, I have no problem. Like, if Shayna and Zoe beat them on just a random Raw, I wouldn't probably have that big of a conniption. But going into it, I was just thinking to myself, what the fuck are we doing? Like,
this match didn't need to happen.
It didn't need to, exactly. Yeah, it didn't need to happen. You could have done one-on-ones. You could have had a triple threat with each of.
I would have just had Isla and Alba squash like a fucking random team,
right?
Because they're the ones who need rub. Like, look it. I'm assuming the reason they did this is because Shayna just got fucking knocked the fuck out by my girl Lola the night before, so they wanted to kind of give her shit back. But like, do it against a random team. Have them both win. Like, it just have it be like one of those. They do those. What are those fucking stupid ass 5-minute challenges to have? Have them each wrestle a team and have to see who beats them. I don't know. Anything would have been better than this.
Beat the clock challenge or something.
Yeah, those are terrible, but it would have been better than this.
Your Zoe Stark fan says Zoe and Shayna haven't lost a match since forming. They've been built as a dominant tag team for months.
Is that true?
I'm not going to fact check that right now.
I feel like they've lost the matches.
All right, here's my thing though, Guthrie, is neither of these teams should have lost going into this thing because they're going to lose on Saturday or whatever. Like, to me, it just feels like, what the fuck are we doing? And then here's, to me, you alluded to it a little bit, but I think this is the part that bothers the fuck out of me too. Shayna Baszler had no fucking business being in this fucking match because she was supposedly, quote unquote, knocked the fuck out by Lola Vice at NXT. And it's like, if you just for one goddamn second want to fucking believe Kayfabe still is alive. On what fucking planet does somebody in the UFC get knocked the fuck out and then wrestle 2 days later or fight 2 days later? It doesn't fucking happen. They get 3 to 8 months off.
A lot of them
fucking
get like
something.
6-month medical like suspensions.
Exactly. And they already did. And we'll talk about this later when we talk about NXT. But all I kept thinking about was she just got knocked the fuck out. And that's how you sell the pay-per-view of just like, is she going to make it? She got fucking hurt. I know you got to give her shit back and you got to make Zoe and Shayna look like fucking menaces and all that shit. I get that, but I don't understand how you can tell me that you're trying to make her look like an actual legitimate badass in NXT and have her knock the fuck out, legitimately a concussion finish, and then do the stupid shit they did on Raw. It doesn't make any goddamn sense. It was the stupidest fucking thing I've ever seen. They should all be fucking penalized for it, taken out back and smacked around with a fish. I was so fucking angry about it.
Whenever you say something like stupidest thing I've ever seen, and I see your face with your fucking stupid little fucking headphones like that, I'm like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. But no, I mean, you're 100% right. Look at Lola versus Shayna fucking smacked. That match was awesome. I think, as our boy Ray said in our knocker thread, that's what they wanted Shayna and Ronda to be, and it obviously couldn't come close, but that's just because Lola's the fucking GOAT, man. Did you see the pain Lola was going through dancing after that match? It was beautiful. She was in so much pain as she shook that goddamn ass. But yeah, I mean, it's the overlap of these two storylines, probably not the best communication. Because the Lola Shayna thing was awesome on its own. Maybe this isn't the time for Shayna and Zoe to be getting a tag title shot. Like, you have plenty of tag teams, especially if you're doing a triple threat. Like, insert other random team here into this match instead. And maybe, like, after this pay-per-view, you give Shayna and Zoe their thing. Because, yeah, no, the timing on this was definitely weird, and they did not handle it well. And Monday, yeah, it was fucking bad. It was bad. Nobody won in that segment.
I just don't understand. Here's the thing. I don't think they're doing a good, we talked about this last week about the women. I don't think they're doing the women justice in general. I really don't. Like,
not in the main roster. In NXT, yes, not in the main roster.
Tag titles, tag teams, champions, contenders. I just, across the board, it's a head scratch for me. Absolute fucking head scratch. I don't understand it. And I know that Triple H is a huge proponent of women being equal and having their time and all that shit. But I'm watching this and I'm thinking to myself, Shayna Baszler in NXT was treated as a fucking killer. You know, and even
she's even been treated great leading into this feud,
yes,
when it was like her and Lola versus Natalya and Carmen. Like, Shayna looked the best Shayna's looked in years.
Right. And like, it bothers the fuck out of me. It's like, we want the voodoo bitches, the fucking unholy union, to get a fucking chance. And then here's their chance, the golden opportunity, these two Scots, to go to fucking Scotland on Saturday. You don't have to job them out. Even if it was 5 minutes and Shayna beat them, I'd be okay with that. But the fact that it was like 2 fucking minutes, I was just thinking to myself, okay, so you're basically telling me, if math, and math was never my strong suit, so bear with me, you're telling me that Shayna concussed is greater than these two women who have not fucking wrestled. Like, that's what you're telling me. And then here's the extra equation. All 4 of those women do not get, they're all less than Jade and Cargill. It does, or Jade and Bianca. I'm sorry. I'm so angry when I get angry, I get flustered. But it's just like, it doesn't make any goddamn sense.
Yeah, no, I mean, we could literally bitch about this all day, but it's bottom line, this match should have never happened. That end of story. What else you got, Nestlemania?
All right,
you were hot and some other stuff too.
Yeah, so here's the thing. I just realized we discussed what I'm going to do for my hope and comeback. I'm going to shift because I feel like I got enough stuff in me now that I'm fired up. Here we go. Ready? Something else that bothers me about the WWE. Here we go. This is the part that fucking angers the fuck out of me. And it was on display on Friday, on display on Monday. Triple H does not like tag teams in general. I think both men's tag team championships are fucking shit. They don't fucking get in actual meaning feuds. They're all fucking individuals who are not tag teams doing anything. He doesn't give them fucking time and do anything. He's already breaking up the fucking SmackDown or teasing the fucking SmackDown titles going off. Then you got fucking Miz and Truth fucking around with AOP for no goddamn fucking reason. And all I'm thinking to myself is, Miz and Truth are hilarious, but they don't need those fucking tag titles. It's just like, you don't care about real tag teams in the WWE. You just fucking don't. And if it was, you'd have great fucking tag team matches and you'd have the fucking titles on fucking champions who could fucking be tag team specialists. But all they do is like, oh, I just ran into fucking Scarlett and we have a fucking random fucking tag match. And ooh, you know, New Day distracted them. Fuck you. That was stupid. And then you go to fucking Friday, and I'm just thinking to myself, okay, I get it. Waller and Theory, not on the same fucking page. But what the fuck are we doing?
Waller won his match at least.
No, I know. But it's just, they're fucking tag teams.
I agree.
Give them meaningful tag team title feuds.
Here's the problem. You're not going to have them till SummerSlam, Nestlemania, because where is Miz from?
Cleveland.
Where's SummerSlam?
Cleveland.
They ain't losing it before them. Who is from Cleveland on DIY?
Gargano.
When are they going to win the tag team titles?
SummerSlam.
There you go. So we're fucking just caught with a rock and a hard place. I realize that because I had the same issues. Like, look, and I'll say this: the backstage segment of Miz looking for Truth and Truth just randomly agreeing to matches, I think is funny. So, like,
but
that
you don't need them to be champions to do that.
No, I agree. But like I just said, they're from Cleveland. They're going to be booked on that card. So until then, tag team wrestling is going to be random like this because the big matches are going to be in Cleveland where Miz and Truth defend and then DIY wins their titles, likely from Waller and Theory. So I think until then, these next couple months, this is how it's going to be. So it's not great. You know, I'm a tag team guy, but I mean, they don't get, even when Judgment Day had those titles, they did not really have meaningful feuds in terms of the tag. Yeah, because what they did when they're unified, they would put the tag titles on a hot faction. Because like the Bloodline had them forever too, and obviously the Usos are amazing. But even when they were tag champs, it wasn't about the tag titles, like it was about the Bloodline. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what they did with Judgment Day. And now that they're split, they're on like tag teams, but it's just like on SmackDown, especially, it's like, well, we don't have a ton of time for this. And then on Raw, it's just like, well, they're not the best wrestling tag team champions. So, and I'm going to have all these wrestling matches. So I don't know. It's been weird.
I just look at it from a different perspective of just, you have tag teams. You just don't use them. Like you just don't use them. And I've
been saying that for years.
But it's
people say WWE doesn't have tag teams. They do. They just don't use them.
And the thing is why would any self-respecting tag team want to be in the WWE? This is why FTR left. I just look at it like, if you do tag, you've said this the most, so I'm just screaming at the top of the JC mountain here. But if you do tag team wrestling correctly, it can main event. Because there's different.
It did WrestleMania,
right? There are things you can do that make it more interesting sometimes than a one-on-one.
You have double the people in the match, double the possibilities,
right? But they don't look at it, and it's just like, we're gonna give it to a fucking comedy yuck team on fucking Raw. We're gonna give it to two fucking young studs that we're not gonna trust having tag team matches with on SmackDown. Doesn't make any goddamn sense. And then on fucking NXT, that fucking tag team fucking Like,
I mean, that's the funny thing is, Jesus. all these main roster tag teams have to go to NXT to be in feuds. You got Gallows and Anderson, like we saw, like all these teams have been like down there or swimming around those titles forever, just because but it's. When I look at Raw Nestlemania, I just need the Creeds to be a thing because they're the type of tag team that they'll put on every week and have matches just because the crowd will just get so hot for their matches. And on SmackDown, I was like, DIY could help, but I think on SmackDown, unfortunately, especially the fact that that's Jade and Bianca's main show, for once in Nestlemania, for the first time ever, the women's tag team titles feel way more important than the men's. So, and the fact that they're both SmackDown superstars, those titles are going to have a tough time no matter what.
It's a fucking travesty. It really is.
I don't disagree.
Sorry. Just sometimes I need to get it out.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. We'll get some other things. Do you have anything that makes you upset? Or is in the heat?
Not anything that really makes me upset, but I'm curious your take on the whole Bloodline stuff because you obviously haven't mentioned it, so you don't think it's shine. But little recap here. Heyman says Solo sits at the head of the table until Roman Reigns comes back. Tama is the right-hand man. KO attacks, gets beaten down. The Prophet save him, blah, blah, blah. Solo, I believe in the match later, he used a spear. They then triple powerbombed KO through the table as an ode to the Shield. Direct shots at Roman Reigns. But I guess my one part of the heat, because whatever, I'm mostly wait and see with this stuff. You can't earlier in the night tell me this is a Nestle thing, by the way. You're going to be proud of me. That Solo Sikoa sits at the head of the table. Then when I watch him wrestling, his gear says Enforcer. Are you fucking kidding me? That was horrible. I saw that and I'm like, God damn it, I hang out with Nestle too much because I would never care about that. But the fact that he always points out stupid shit like that, I'm like, I can't get past that. It ruined it for me. So any chance of this being halfway interesting, I'm like, you're confusing me. Nope, out. Terrible.
The other thing, I'm so proud of you. I really am. I'm sure it's a low point in your life, but I'm very proud of you.
It really is.
It really, yeah. You know, when you and I are just hanging out, we just do awful things. But here's the other thing too that I want to bring up. So you sit there and you're drawing comparisons to like, okay, we can clearly see the comparisons from the Bloodline 1.0 to Bloodline 2.0, whatever. That there's a head of a table, there's a right-hand man, and then there's the fucking other guy. But all I kept thinking about was you fucking named him and you're like the infamous. It's like, basically, you're like, I couldn't fucking come up with another name for this guy, so it's infamous. And I understand infamous means certain things, and I understand what it really attracts to, that you're famous for bad reasons, and I get that they're trying to paint them as criminals. Tama Tonga's been doing great work. I have no issue with him. I think he's surprised me.
For me.
He's exceeded everything. Now Tongaloa, I don't really have a problem with, but when you don't give him a fucking nickname, then you make him less than, and you can't.
Well, I will say this was his induction to the Bloodline, so it just like that was the kind of thing. Like Tama got a promotion and Tonga got officially like signed, I guess. Is what
okay, but my thought is you can't not give him a nickname, because if you
give him the nickname Camacho,
the Macho, whatever, like the fucking man. I don't even care if he's the left-hand man. I don't give a shit. You give him something. You give him the Enforcer. For crying out loud, and then make him the head of the table. Because the fact that you didn't give him a fucking nickname makes him less than in a group that's already less than. Like, what are you doing? It doesn't matter if you fucking back up and have the other fucking big goon from New Japan coming in. The fucking other brother, he's fucking 7 feet tall. Who can't teach that? But I don't.
They got a 7-footer.
The dude's fucking enormous. It's like fucking
Omos and Braun Strowman.
You are gonna love him. You are gonna love the big oaf. He is an oaf of a loaf. Like,
now, are we talking more Omos or Giant Gonzalez? Because there is a big difference.
He is more than Giant Gonzalez, but less than Omos.
Okay, that's fine. It's serviceable then.
That he is a passable. But here's the thing: he has the opportunity to slip on a banana peel, and I know your belly laugh. You will fucking love it. So that's the kind of. So like, but the other thing is like that shit's all fucking tied up, and then it's just like, and then there's the Jacob Fatu thing still lingering, and you're just like, what the fuck are we doing here? And then, of course, it's got to be Rock at some point. And I'm just thinking to myself, this is getting so convoluted, so fucking stupid. I'm out of it. I just
can't wait till SmackDown is the half the roster Samoan. Because even Nia Jax's hating out on SmackDown.
I know. It's getting out of hand. We get that the Samoans make wrestling, but Jesus Christ.
I honestly love it because it's just so ridiculous. Like, give me like fucking like 12 Samoans in the Bloodline for no reason. Sign every Samoan, even if they haven't wrestled yet. If they're thinking about wrestling,
it's The Rock.
Sign them.
The Rock is just like,
yeah,
give me off. It's the direction you can fuck, like all that shit. Like, come on. Sorry, but anyway, yeah, I'm not a big fan. I think Heyman does a great job trying to keep it together, but god damn it, I think I just fucking bruised my arm doing that. But anyway, it was worth the fucking comedic effect. Let's just go real quick here. Fucking Candice and Indy with the baby faces losing, of course, because fucking, it's nonsense. Apollo got jumped by fucking, Legado del Fantasma because he can't fucking catch a break. That poor bastard.
Hey, at least it isn't Hispanics fighting Hispanics.
I know. It is what it is, but it's just like, okay, great, whatever. And then we have the thing that it was perked my interest, but I was just like, I don't know if this is gonna work. Is Tiffy and Nia? I mean, Nia falling over in the soda had me stitching laughing. Like I was just loving it. That was good. She's great, but I was like, Tiffy and Nia seem like an odd couple tag team that would potentially challenge, but I don't think they're gonna win. But my thought is you can't have Nia lose till SummerSlam. So
yeah, I think it's more of like that's just they're putting Tiffy there to kind of keep like Nia kind of interested, and as she begins her feud with Bayley, it's just kind of like it's different moving parts. I think just so it doesn't get like stale, and that way like Tiffy's involved too because they obviously think very highly of her as they should.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I'm looking at that is. I don't think I have anything else. I think we can move on to hopefully.
Glorious! You're my only hope, Nestlemania. Let's get right into it then. Do you want to go first or you want me?
You can go if you want.
Well, I'm gonna hop over to NXT a little bit. You're gonna notice a theme here with my comeback. But obviously, we had the Roxanne Perez Jordan Grace match. Obviously, Jordan Grace was in the Royal Rumble. So TNA's around. Ash by Elegance, who some of you may have recognized as a former WWE superstar. Also there, I believe Gail Kim was in the crowd. So there's like TNA stuff all over. So I was going through their roster today because I was like, oh, this would be a fun hope. Like, who do I want to see cross over and do shit? And I'm literally going through this roster in Nestlemania. And like every single person on the roster is like, it's 80% ex WWE, 20% ex AEW. So I just started laughing. I'm like, you could have Mustafa Ali, you could have fucking Rich Swann, all these guys returning to NXT. It's just like, I'm just looking at it, but I'm like, know who else? I didn't even know this. Dirty Dango is signed to. Does he actually wrestle for them, or is just on the roster?
Sorta, yeah. But Santino's there too. It's
I saw Santino. Obviously, his daughter's there, but so I wrote down 3 names because obviously there's a lot of WWE fandoms. I know a lot of people like Shawn Michaels loved Ali, so I think he would love to work with him again. And also, I would love to see some NXT stars go over there. I think they're kind of starting it with Brooks Jensen and stuff. But the 3 names I wrote down, Nestlemania. One is my favorite person that I've never really watched a lot of, but the little bit I've seen, I think he's amazing. Chris Bay. I think this guy's great. I want him on my TV. I think he would be a fun guy. And the fact that he's never really been in the WWE, I think it would be interesting to have him cross over. On the women's side, similarly, Tasha Steelz, someone else that I've seen a few times. I'm very impressed with. She used to be a tag team partner also with my girl, Kiera Hogan. Also another person that's never really mixed it up in NXT or whatever. So it would be an interesting crossover. And the third name I wrote down was Dirty Dango because come on. There's so much history there. I mean, Tyler Breeze hangs around the PC. I don't know if he kind of works for them or not, but could have little Breezango, little fashion files. So, I just kind of want this to continue because it's fun. I know a lot of people get rock hard about the AEW New Japan one. That one just is kind of boring because the characters just aren't there. But like TNA has they're more digestible characters. And I think there are some easy crossover things, especially with NXT, that I thought the Roxanne Jordan Grace thing was a home run. And I think there's more home runs to hit. So yeah, I'm hoping they continue it. Those are 3 names I'd love to see. Obviously, I'd love to see some NXT guys go over there. I mean, look at another one. I think this guy sucks. I think you do too, but Obafemi versus Moose.
That was literally going to be my next thing.
Big fucking meaty men slapping meat. Because Moose said he's like, I'd only go over there to fight the top guys. And I'm like, nah, if you go over there, motherfucker, you're fighting Obafemi in a fucking meat match. And no one can win or lose because you got I think Moose is their champion or whatever, but just give me the meat. I want the meats. Put fucking Josh Briggs in there and they can pin him at the same time. Some bullshit. But yeah, I think there's a lot of fun to be had here.
I just don't understand the Moose hype. I think Moose is completely overrated and I don't think he could ever. I don't think
he has a good look, but he's not good at anything.
No, he's not. He's just generic looking and just he doesn't jump off the page to me. It's just like serviceable mid card in WWE, maybe, but not even he's where he is for a reason, in my opinion. He'd be lost everywhere else he goes. So that's his home. But Obafemi, yeah, that would be fun. That was my
because that was my main purpose of going through the roster. I'm like, what big guys do they have? And besides
nobody,
there wasn't really anyone.
No, TNA is a smaller territory. But the other thing
they do have Top Dollar,
Huhada, he's the digital champ. But Joe Henry. I
have no idea who this fucking guy is.
Oh my God.
Whenever I go on TikTok, it's all these things of Joe Henry. It's all I see. I
believe in Joe Henry.
But it's working because I've heard of him.
Joe Henry is so fucking funny. And the fact that the WWE guys know who they are and they're like, that would be fucking hysterical. I mean, you could even go to to me, the easy slam dunk is that Wesley got fucking attacked by Gallus and the Rascals are in TNA. That was his.
That's
fucking
the next employee though, where it didn't end so good. So,
but he could go. But Wesley could go to TNA, and be like,
it's true. But they'd also be sharing those clips on it. You know what I mean? So I think that makes a lot of sense, and I think they definitely could do it. But I'm curious if that relationship, how that has worked out with Wentz there. So.
I don't know. I just think there's a lot, like you said.
Isn't he dating Gigi Dolan too? I think.
Yeah.
She also might be on the outs if you listen to the fucking Dirty Idiots.
I just think there's so much.
There's fun to be had.
Yeah, there's so
for the most fun show in wrestling, NXT. There's a lot of fun to be had with this.
And the fact that Shawn Michaels wore a chef hat the other day instead of 5 stars out of 5 flames, I just started dying.
I've been saying it and I know a lot of people think I'm joking, and I've been saying it for 2 or 3 years. Shawn Michaels is the best booker in wrestling. It's not close. He really is, because he books it just fun. He just makes it fun. Like even the misses are fun. And so like people think I'm joking, but I'm like having fun with it. But like I'm legitimately not. I think he is. Like he is the fucking cook, and he's getting the credit now. But like, dude, he's been doing this for a few years now. It is just he just does it differently, and it works. Just works.
I just love so much watching like him trying to twerk with Sexy Red and like just all this random shit. Like
I also love that she apparently got arrested when she landed in fucking Vegas.
Oh my god,
she is something. But I love when they kicked out. We'll talk about NXT eventually, but like they kick off the show and they like have a wide shot and she just starts fucking twerking like crazy, and they have to zoom way out into wide shots because she's just fucking dry humping the canvas for like 5 minutes. Fucking, oh, it's so good.
Or where are we? Hope right now?
Right, your Hope.
Okay. So I had to shift gears as something happened here. As Money in the Bank approaches, there was one promo this week that just was talking to JC that I could not I loved it so much. And that was the Ludwig Kaiser promo. Just the rise of the Kaiser made me chuckle. The fucking eliminated, legend eliminated. It was just like, walking Ken doll, how you feel, Sheamus, like all that shit. I just started dying. And then he said, I will be a Money in the Bank. And there's just the whole thing. And I was just like, oh my God, here it is. This is the fucking moment of hope for Nestlemania. Ludwig Kaiser is going to win Money in the Bank and cash in on Gunther. And then we get the fucking boom.
Ludwig Kaiser's a world champ. I mean, look at.
Not right now, but 10 months from now.
There was no bigger fan of Ludwig Kaiser than this guy right here. He has been first team All JC since the second I saw Marcel Barthel in NXT UK. And he came on, he had that fucking coiffed hair, and he's going like this, and they're wearing the fucking Imperium jumpsuits. I'm just like, this guy is fucking handsome, elegant, and amazing, and really fucking good. So look it. I think he's a world champion. I'm just surprised to see you say it because I don't know if WWE is going to view him that way, but
no, he can. But here's the thing: just imagine it. I want him to win, but he probably won't. But even if he doesn't cash in, the dynamic of him and Gunther being on separate is so interesting to me. And we knew Gunther is going to win that championship at SummerSlam because the Battle in Berlin happens at the end of August or September.
Well, how about this? What if
cash in, baby?
Gunther loses at SummerSlam, but Ludwig gives him the briefcase and then he cashes in the win.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I don't know. I just think it's amazing.
I got excited when I saw that promo because I'm like, oh, I would love Ludwig in this ladder match.
Yeah.
Because that's the purpose of these Money in the Bank. Just like to take these stars on the cusp and give them a chance to give them hope so people start to look at them differently and like have this conversation we're having right now, which we never would have had, even if he's in the ladder match and loses. We've at least thought about him as at that level. So now the door's open, like someday, if he continues to improve like he has been, that it would be very believable. So
I don't want Jey Uso. I really don't want Jey Uso.
I mean, I want Sami Zayn.
Sami is the one. If it can't be
full
Sami,
circle moment of him actually getting his moment this time, like then he can cash in fucking on Gunther and fucking ruin his day again, which would be great. I just like Sami be the guy that Gunther can't get over would be perfect.
I just look at it from a different, like, if it's not Sami and it's Ludwig, I'd be happy. But if it's Jey Uso, I'm gonna be so mad. I'm gonna throw something if it's Jey Uso. I really will. Like just a little hissy fit for sure. I don't buy him as a world champion. But that's the thing. He doesn't have to. Nobody in the Money in the Bank has to win.
I agree, but it's just like I always view that as a waste.
Right.
Except for like the Cena one. I liked when they did it with Cena because it's like they took like the most indestructible guy ever and had him be the first. Like that was perfect. But like I just get, I mean, the Sandow one really hurt because that was Cody's one. And that was like the end of Cody in WWE. That started it because it's like, that was the moment to pull the trigger on him and they didn't. And then obviously all the other stuff happened. But the other one, it was just like the Corbin one just still like hurts me to my core. Like literally to my core.
Austin Theory is up there too, you know, like,
I mean, God, that's
the worst cash in of all time. So
yeah, that was bad.
It's just bad. So anyway, want to do your comeback?
Don't call it a comeback. She's only been here for 2 years, Nestlemania. And that makes it even more impressive that she climbed the ladder of opportunity. And Kalani Jordan is the first ever NXT Women's North American Champion. Look it. I've been high on Kalani. I believe I picked her to be the Iron Survivor because I thought that she was due to win something like this. But I was just so one-track mind on this being a heel, being Fallon Henley. But I mean, Kalani's, her story's incredible. I mean, she's literally, it's just like Lola. They've both been there like 2 years, and look at how good they already are. Like, they're just evidence of this new WWE system, this NIL stuff and all this type of thing, like just working, like finding these incredible athletes and translating what they do best into wrestling and making them superstars. It just like, I mean, Kalani, I think her ceiling is very high. Obviously, athletically, we know what she can do, but I think she's finally starting to turn the tides here character-wise, getting some interest level. I think her confidence is going up. I think she's looking more comfortable in there. And there's a lot of heel women in NXT right now, so I think there's a ton of feuds for her with this title. So, yeah, I was pleasantly surprised to see her win because I'm very high on her. So she gets my comeback this week.
We can talk about more about that match later on, but yeah, interesting. My comeback, I am calling an audible, JC. I'm not proud, but it came up in my mind. Wednesday night, last Wednesday, I was watching a lot of people talking. Not a lot of people wrestling. I don't really care for the wrestling. I don't think the best wrestle in AEW. The best talkers happen in AEW sometimes.
No.
Anyway,
it's not true either.
I am embarrassed to say this. I'm giving my comeback to the Learning Tree. Chris Jericho. Yeah, I'm not proud of it, folks, but the fact that JC just took his headset off and walked away is all you need to know. I'm not proud of the human being. I don't like him, but the gimmick works. So I'm just, yeah, it's fascinating to me how he fucking did it again. He parlayed it again into something else that he shouldn't have. And as much as he's probably a terrible human being, he has my interest again. I don't know how he did it. Just don't wrestle. So there you go. There's my comeback. JC, come back for the finish, please. Come back for the finish.
Are you done?
Yes.
All right. I refuse to listen or watch anything about the Learning Tree, so I hear that word. I had to leave, but I see you're done. So we'll head over to the big old finish, Nestlemania. And yeah, we have a lot of shit to talk about on SmackDown this week. Quickly, Waller Effect with DIY. We have Naomi versus Chelsea Green, Nia Jax versus Michin, and recently added KO versus Solo Sikoa. Does anything there wet your whistle?
Not even a little, I'll be honest.
All right, on Raw, no fucking idea. So we will go now to NXT Battleground. And as I mentioned earlier, Kalani is the first ever NXT North American Women's Champion. I thought this match was a lot of fun, Nestlemania. They clearly had a lot of good spots for everyone. I thought it delivered.
I thought Sol Ruka did a great job. Lash Legend took a fucking bump like a champ. Fallon Henley looked like a star the minute she walked out. I do like Jada Parker's confidence and swagger / aura. There's something going on there.
She's a bad bitch. I love it.
Yeah, you can tell that woman believes very highly of herself, and you need that in wrestling. So I don't like Out the Mud at all, but I like her. I like her an awful lot. And then who's the other one? Michin. Well, there you go. That's why I forgot her. But no, listen, the one I mean, I don't hate Kalani Jordan at all, but when she won, I just like out of my head, I was like, is this a nepotism win? Like, I don't know. Like, does she deserve it? I don't know, because I feel like I don't think she has enough character to do it. In my opinion.
Yeah, but isn't the essence of like a mid-card title supposed to be about like matches and exciting stuff? And I think she kind of embodies that. Like, there's not too many people more exciting between the ropes than her. It's like Sol Ruka was the obvious pick, but Kalani and her have a lot of similarities in terms of athleticism, so they went with a different direction. And I mean, it's someone they're clearly highly on, because when you make someone the first ever of something, they're going to be there forever. But I think it was just a nice pivot off of like Sol Ruka being the obvious favorite. And then like people like me thinking, oh, maybe it's Fallon or Lash. That's why I kind of liked it. It was the same reason like when Indy Hartwell won a couple years ago. It was just like, oh shit, that happened. That was cool.
Yeah, I don't, like I said, it was this pleasant surprise, but she has no character in my opinion right now. So I'm looking to see what happens, because hopefully this is the start of her having a 3-dimensional character. Because right now I feel like she's just, like we said, she's in the Ricochet category, right? Like, she's fucking great in the ring, but what else? What else? So.
Worked pretty well for Ricochet, Nestlemania, as we discussed earlier. Next up, Frazier and Mathboy retain. Who cares? Next up, we have the greatest underground match of all time. Lola, well, actually, the Natalia was really good too. Lola beats Shayna Baszler and then shakes her ass with Sexy Red backstage. Look, like I said earlier, I thought this match was awesome. This was perfect. It was it was a fight, and it's kind of what you need at a place called Battleground. Their MMA backgrounds, like it just worked. And man, like Lola is on a fucking heater right now. I'm curious if she's challenging Roxanne soon or what's going on, because I mean, picking up singles wins over Shayna and Natalia, that's a pretty big fucking deal. So
I love so many things about this matchup. And I went into it having zero expectations, and I think those are the most fun that I have as a fan when I have zero expectations, because NXT Underground is definitely better than Raw Underground or whatever they did back in 100%. But there are portions of this matchup that stunk the fucking joint up, in my opinion. And so, like, I think the hardest part for me is, it's we've talked about this ad nauseum, but I think this just real quickly, the mix of MMA / WWE combining together in these kind of matchups where, like, there are moments where you're like, oh, this is sports entertainment again. And it took me out of it in those particular moments. And then they got me back, which was all Lola, I'll be honest, not necessarily Shayna Baszler, but it was like the finish was MMA, which I get. But it just felt like there was like chicanery that happens, on the outside with like other extracurricular stuff going on. And then they roll back in the ring and like, oh, she fucking hit this. And this wouldn't happen in the fucking UFC or Bellator. So I felt like, for as amazing as it was, and it probably will be the best NXT underground match that I can remember, or just the best underground match that we've ever had, I still think there's still time to figure out how to make this even better, because I think there are glaring issues in terms of trying to inject too much sports entertainment into these kind of things.
Well, I can tell you this, as someone who watches both MMA and wrestling, this match was pretty much 99% sports entertainment. It's obviously they allude to MMA things, but it's just like, if you like put side by side an MMA real fight in this fight, it's just like, it's like you get when someone's on top pounding like this, is just like the type of things they were getting out of. And the biggest difference for me is always the submission stuff, because wrestling submissions and MMA submissions are different, because most of the time when guys are fighting and girls are fighting in MMA submissions, it's fighting to like not actually fall into the submission. Like you're fighting against it. So a lot of the time when they're laying on the mat, they might not be moving, because if the person like in the choke or in the armbar, whatever, shifts just a little bit, they could slip into it and then it's over instantly. And the person on the outside doesn't, or like putting it on, it's the same thing. Like they don't want to make a mistake, so the person can easily get out or reverse it. So whereas a WWE submission is like they lock it in and they try not to tap. So it's just completely like different type thing. But they obviously, in terms of like the way they were dressed and the way they presented themselves, it felt like MMA. They did focus a lot more on the striking, which is much more MMA based. But it's mostly sports entertainment there. But I will say I did like the finish, because a spinning back fist is one of the most exciting knockouts you can do. So to do it that way, and then with the ground and pound, like that is going for that MMA type feel. But yeah, there's definitely ways to make these matches better, but it's still cool because it's something different. And that's, again, this is why I love NXT. I'm a walking billboard for Watch NXT, because everything they do is unique and different. They take chances. They are always evolving and trying different things. And I think that's the coolest part about it.
I will say the other thing that I thought was kind of odd was the lighting was too dark for me, and too, like, I get why they do it for it, but I felt from a production.
That's the underground thing.
No, I know, but the production standpoint was almost too dark. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was
like,
okay.
But it bothered me. There was
anything to not show how fucking small the apex is.
That's fine, because I think like they had issues going on production in general across the board, so it was a tough night for production for sure. All right.
Next up, Nestlemania. Meet Oba Femi is a fucking unit. The type of shit this motherfucker does, I just want to watch him throw people around forever. I just like line him up, let him knock him down. Like this was a showcase for him. Like a lot of us, like those of us who know, but this was the one where I feel like people like who maybe hadn't seen him before were like, holy fuck, this guy is everything that we've ever wanted in a fucking absolute beast. Like he is just Like, I thought Braun Strowman was a game changer. This guy is like a fucking, if Braun Strowman was like the most ridiculous fit, insane athlete you've ever seen, like, but just like his strength, his power, his quickness, this motherfucker's smooth, Nestlemania. How many matches has this motherfucker had? Not that many. And my God, you watch him and it's like, dude, he looks like he's been doing this forever. I can't wait. And Corey Graves going, Nick Aldis, get this guy in SmackDown. I'm like, don't take him away from NXT yet. Don't take him away yet. But by God, man, this guy, it's just like, there's no limit. They can't put the sky high enough for this guy. He's impressive.
I was sitting there thinking to myself, how do you realistically get this guy to lose? There's only so many.
Brock Lesnar?
Maybe Braun Breaker.
He's Brock Lesnar. He's too old. Yeah. Breaker and Femi, man. Oh, my God.
Maybe a Sheamus, maybe a McIntyre, but definitely not a Cody. You know what I mean? Like, there are
they'd have to literally do some David and Goliath type shit. But I think that match would be years from happening. So
I'm so impressed by him. Like, again, there's no denying he's an impressive human being. I hope to Christ that I hope he's a nice person, because if he's not, that's going to hurt my feelings. Like, I hope he's a fucking delight. I really do. Because I want him to succeed in the worst way possible, but I'm not cheering like, go get him. Cause like, you don't need anybody's seal of approval when you walk into the room looking like that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know what his background is.
Wasn't he like a football player or something? Like,
that is an enormous human being who should not be able to do half that shit. And Wes Lee deserves the fucking
dude. Their singles match is gonna smack when they have it.
Oh my God! Like, I looked at that and I went, okay, Wes Lee is gonna get tossed. Like, not even out of the ring. Like, third row.
Pizza dough for him.
Unreal. So yeah, Obafemi, signed, sealed, delivered. Whoever's going to be in the main event of NXT, good fucking luck. Good fucking luck.
Next up, Roxanne defeats Jordan Grace. What did you think of this one?
I liked it. Obviously, Jordan had to lose because, that makes more sense. I laughed at the Dana Brooke thing. That made me laugh really hard. What's the other girl's name? The one that took the title?
Tatum Paxley.
Tatum Paxley, yes.
Yeah.
Doesn't really do anything for me in terms of like, oh, she's showing up on fucking TNA, but whatever. It is what it is. I guess because the thing is like, to me, it's like, okay, Jordan couldn't beat Roxy, but Jordan will then beat this girl, Tatum. So it's like, there's a pecking order here, and I get it, but it's just, I was kind of hoping to see an equal opportunity here for NXT to get somebody over there that was going to move the needle a little bit more than a Tatum Paxley. That's all.
I mean, there's going to be others. It's just one of those things where Tatum's kind of been floating around Roxanne anyways, because she was so big in her feud with Lyra, because she was obviously like Lyra's stalker and stuff. So I'm assuming Tatum might get a shot at Roxanne as well. So I think it's all kind of interwoven with these women here. Okay. But next up, Nestlemania, we had the main event, All Egos, in-ring debut for NXT. He comes up short though against Whoop That Trick. Whoop That Trick. I like it.
So this was the first time that I really didn't like a finish in NXT. And I understand the logic of it, that he got distracted or took the eyes off the ball, and Trick had the fucking Trick Willie and then hit him with the knee and whatever. And it worked, the Trick play or whatever it's called. I get it. But I was watching this matchup going, you could have thought of something better than this. But they all did what they had to do, and that's fine. But I think they could have done better personally. And honestly, I think Trick Williams is in the category of a Jey Uso. He's all fucking sizzle, no steak, in my opinion.
That's why he's in NXT Nestlemania.
Right.
That's the difference between him and Jey Uso, is they are going to mold Trick Williams well beyond that. Because this guy, this is another guy who's a football player. And I think when he started on screen with Mello, he hadn't been with them that long. So he's another guy that just hasn't. But there's a reason why, even with his mega rise to stardom the last 6 months, there's a reason why, like, no, you're doing the full circuit as the main event of NXT this year, because we are going to turn you into a main roster, like, high-level wrestler. Like, he'll get there. And this feud was always weird to me, because obviously it happened so suddenly. And I don't know how much. I think an important thing in Trick's development is going to be working with veterans like this and like this experience of probably not having a lot of time to put together this match at short notice, I think will be good for his development too. But you're going to pay for it a little bit on screen. But again, I think that with the bigger picture here with Trick, it's like you need to present him all different types of things because they are getting him ready to someday be a future main eventer on the main roster. He's not anywhere near that yet, though, as we can clearly tell. But we've seen him do nothing but get better since they've started to push him. So I have all the faith in the world he'll get there.
I think he's going to be a big deal. I just don't know how big of a deal he'll get to be because at some point, in order to have your staying power, you need to be able to have a good match. And
He's
I don't
got
know.
the look. His matches will get there. I mean, his match with Dragunov were bangers, and on the main roster, you're working with a lot of Dragunov, so that helps for sure with guys like this.
Okay, that's fair. Totally fair. Okay.
Should we clash it up at the castle, fella?
Oh shit, I forgot all about that.
Yeah,
Yes,
we gotta do predictions. I wore my London hat that my parents got for me over there. I know it's in Scotland, but close enough. I figured I'd rep it for Danny, because I am not a shamer like you. But
I was just gonna say you are a shamer, confusing everybody. That's okay.
no, I'm not confusing everyone. I know it's all there, but it's like England is a lot closer to Scotland than anything else I could wear. So yeah, deal with it, Nestlemania. We have 5 matches booked at this moment in time. Maybe they'll let us 6 on SmackDown. I doubt it. Maybe a bloodline shit. Who the fuck knows? Triple threat match. Actually, that's in Glasgow anyways, the SmackDown. So it's kind of going to be treated like a big deal. Triple threat match for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. She's not on her own anymore against the world. She now has fucking Jade Cargill. That's a pretty big deal. And they're defending their tag team titles against Alba Fire and Isla Dawn and Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. They're probably going to give these girls some time. I don't know how the match will be. I'm curious, but it's definitely a Bianca and Jade retain.
Yeah, Belair and Jade are definitely not losing these anytime soon. I assume they'll lose them right after WrestleMania, or sorry, right after Royal Rumble, probably at some point. But yeah, that's going to be a whole fucking long goddamn time. Hopefully they stay healthy and they continue this entire thing. But yeah, this is a fucking train that ain't going to fucking stop. So
speaking of trains that we hope stop, in this case, singles match for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. The champion, Sami Zayn, defends his title against Chad Gable, who will be flanked by the Alpha Academy of at least Otis and maybe Tozawa and Maxine Dupree. Look at Nestlemania. I want Gable to win in the worst way.
Say it.
I don't have faith, though. Give me Sami Zayn.
Wow. What a fucking coward. What a fucking coward.
I don't have faith. It's a prediction. It's not a hope. It's a prediction.
I'm telling you right now, I'm picking Gable. I'm going.
Good boy. I'm proud of you.
I'm going for it. Because honestly, if it's not now, it can't happen. It can't happen.
I agree.
It can't fucking happen.
For the first time in your life, Nestlemania, you might want to soak this in. I hope you're right. Next up, we have a singles match for the WWE Women's Championship. Bayley defends her championship against Piper Niven, who will be flanked by Chelsea Green. I'm assuming we're going Bayley here, even though it's in Piper Niven, also from Scotland, I believe.
It doesn't matter. She did a great job in that promo on Friday, trying to build up who she was, but apparently she's been so fucking stuck in the mud with her fucking tag team and everything else. They've been with the sweet Drew drop nonsense and all that shit. It's just
you just can't build someone like this who's never been on the stage on the main roster in a week. And that's what they're trying to do.
Fair. That's fair.
So Bayley's all around for us. Next up, another one that is probably pretty easy to predict. An I Quit match for the undisputed WWE Championship. I am going to be fully erect for this match. Cody Rhodes defends against AJ Styles, who will say he will quit. Cody Rhodes retains.
I mean, if this isn't not even a foregone conclusion, this is a waste of fucking breath to say it. Like, it's Cody. You know what I mean? Like, there's no other way to say it. Move on.
Yeah. I can't wait. Next up, what should be the main event, I would think would be the main event, singles match for the World Heavyweight Championship. Damian Priest defends his title against the hometown hero, Drew McIntyre. Judgment Day is barred from ringside because of what happened on Monday. Nestlemania, I'll let you go first on this one because I think there is a good chance here that we could have a new champ.
I don't think we will. I'm picking Priest. Here's why. I think the fact that they stacked the deck saying the Judgment Day will not be part of it makes me believe that either we're getting a CM Punk happening, or his music will play. Just his music will play.
No, he's going to be there.
And that is going to have an eruption and in some way fuck with Drew and cost him again. Because here's the thing. If we have Gunther slated for SummerSlam, it is erroneous to anything that's happening for Priest going forward. But if you give it to Mac, Mac till SummerSlam makes no fucking sense. He should have a long reign.
Yeah, especially if you think McIntyre CM Punk is the SummerSlam match, which seems to be the build. But yeah, I mean, it's clobbering time. CM Punk's going to factor in this, especially like Judgment Day being barred makes all the sense in the world because it just leaves it open. And I can't wait for the reaction because the fans are going to want to cheer CM Punk, but they're going to be screwing their hometown boy. So I cannot wait for the crowd reaction to it. But either way, Damian Priest is walking out with that title.
I'm surprised we both picked that. All right.
Do we care about AEW this week?
Let me I won't bring up the name we shall not talk about very quickly. I know that'll upset you and then you'll walk off again, but
oh yeah, no, we're not mentioning that. I didn't even write that down. I wrote down 3 things.
Okay, go ahead.
Ospreay versus Phoenix. Who cares? I'll watch it because it's Ospreay. Mercedes versus some mass chicks. Who cares? I'll watch it because it's Mercedes. Jack Perry versus Dustin Rhodes. I will definitely watch the fuck out of this.
I mean, that sounds pretty fucking cool. Yeah. There's also it says seriously, what the fuck is Tony Khan doing?
Oh no.
The tweet says, this is the tweet. It's like fucking the things you just ran down, right? And then after it says dope trios match plus more. That's what it says. Dope trios match. Like, are you fucking out of your mind?
You know what? I kind of love that because that makes me kind of want to see what it is.
Dope.
There's no such thing as a dope trios match, but I kind of love that. That's hilarious.
Dope trios match. So here's the full card. I'll tell you right now. The things you said. Then there's this is here you go. I got to see your eye roll when I say this. Here's the fucking. I got to see if I can sanction this off so I can see you and read it at the same time. This is the fucking dope trios match. You ready for this shit?
Yes.
As you're fucking flipping me off, you fucking
because you're gonna mention that fucking learning fucking.
No, I'm not. Here you go. Ready? Here's the fucking dope trios match. It is Mark Briscoe, Kyle O'Reilly, and Orange Cassidy against Kyle Fletcher, Roderick Strong, and Takeshita. Dope trios match. Dope trios match.
Yep. That is a match. Oh, by the way, random thought because it popped in my head when I was thinking of boring things. Kushita's also in TNA.
Yeah.
But yeah, just dope. Like, I was at least hoping it'd be the Bang Bang game.
Nope. Dope.
I love the shit out of them.
Dope trios match. There you go. All right. What a way to end the fucking program.
That means your boy Trent's going to be out there because he's getting a nice little push with the Don Callis family.
God, Jesus. I hope he gets pushed out the fucking door. Jesus Christ. That's how you know it's bad. That's how you know it's fucking bad. I'm
just amazed that Trent Beretta has had the length of career he has had for being so fucking calling him mediocre would be an insult to mediocrity. Just being fucking, it's just incredible. Think about when he was in WWE. What was that, like fucking 15 years ago? This motherfucker's still going on a major promote. Like, what the fuck? It's unbelievable.
It's a waste. It's an absolute waste of television time. Every single goddamn time.
I don't disagree.
On that note, we should just get the fuck out of here. We talked way too long. We hope you enjoy. We hope you enjoy Clash the Castle on Saturday. And we hope that you come back next week and listen or watch the Jobberknocker podcast. We'll see you next time for some more Jobberknockery.